Boom, shakalaka.
Wow, like we're pros.
We're only 2 minutes late.
Way better than what it was like 2 weeks ago, or like 24 minutes late.
What's going on, everybody? This is the Technically Speaking live show. My name is Greg.
I'm Scott.
That's a toss over to you. Swing and a miss.
I'm just trying to be
low-key.
It's not going to happen, guys.
I don't know
this
why
is
you
not
would
how
want
this
it.
works. Yeah. I'm Scott. Find me at Twitter's at ScottPeachy, at ScottPeachy06 on the Instagram.
On the gram.
We probably need to turn that a little bit.
Little bit?
A little bit.
I'm pretty sure that it can pick up your voice.
Do you think it can?
Oh, yeah. No. You don't need to.
Guys,
you don't need to.
Okay. Guys, gals. This is going to be loud for a second. I'm giving you warning. 3, 2, 1. Instagram!
I mean,
I didn't ping it red.
Yeah.
It's because it's down to minus 50.
Anyway, you can find me on Twitter at Ominous Hominid. You can see all of our socials down there in the lower thirds.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the socials, man. And we're not good at them. I'm not good at them.
Look,
I love them, but I'm not good at them.
real talk.
And
I forgot we even had a I didn't even make the live show
my
link.
Unprofessional. Yeah.
Didn't
Literally
even,
20 minutes before the
legit
live show
did not
goes
make
live.
a live show link.
He's making his live show link.
However, big shout outs to Mike at Go Cell Phone Repair. And if you don't know his channel, let me go find it and I will link it in the actual comments. We had a chance to talk with Mike an hour before the show started. And yeah.
Hence why we're coming in a little hot. It was
a
great conversation.
It was a great conversation. And this is what we're going to call this a tease in the industry.
Yeah.
Might be a little conversation between our two channels.
Yeah, a little, what's the word for that?
Collaboration.
Seriously? That was necessary.
Don't judge me.
Okay.
Are you judging me right now?
Oh, yeah. So, little collaboration happening between our channels. As we know more, and when we have dates, we will absolutely announce it, like for reals. Not just me saying that I'll get better about the socials and then not actually doing it. So yeah, stay tuned for that one. Much more to follow there. You wanna get into it? Or big shout outs to
Brian.
everybody.
Hey, Mr. A-Root. I was questioning, so I got on the tubes. Because 6 p.m. on Fridays belong to us. It belongs to us.
This is our time.
This is my time to shine. Discount double check.
Who does that? Who does that outside of the commercial?
I did.
Ridiculous.
Don't judge me.
All right.
You don't know me.
There's a lot of things that have happened in this last week.
Lots
of things that I am... Boy, my little nerd heart is just pounding a mile a minute with all of the cool things that have happened in this last week.
I got the pitter-patters.
I got the vapors. We're going to talk about everything from some interesting things that happened at Apple. They may have had a leak of some variety.
Lies.
Something about, I don't know, there was something that went in the air not too long ago. Like a rocket or something, I don't know.
It was kind of heavy.
It's totally not important.
It was a bird.
LOL.
It was only the coolest thing I witnessed
Amazon.
in a long time.
Oh my god, yes. Amazon is on an absolute tear lately. As we always like to talk about artificial intelligence, there is a new thing that is kind of near and dear to our heart, kind of hit close to home, sort of.
I have not read the show notes.
You have not at all.
And the reason is why?
Because because you think you're more important than what you actually are. CEO
Or
status.
Or the actual fact is that he was like, I don't know how to Google Doc right now. Doesn't it automatically share?
All right, you win this round. Yeah, I didn't share the show notes with him until
6:01.
Probably literally that.
I'm going to check.
So, let's start right at the top. Oh, I just closed the show notes. I'm the worst.
5:55. 5 minutes.
You couldn't read all the show notes in 10 minutes.
Well, there's 3 sentences in there. I don't even know why we call them show notes.
There are 2 pages, sir. I will have you know. A page in 1 sentence. A page in a paragraph. Starting right at the top. Let's talk about social media, man. So there have been a lot of crazy things kind of happening in social media. We talked about this. I think it was last week. We talked about, in my personal opinion, I think that we're starting to witness kind of the beginnings of the reckoning, I will call it, in social media. So we've all heard a lot about how social media has basically built its entire empire on feeding you information that it already thinks that you're interested in. And the downside is that has created these kind of insane echo chambers where if you're looking for information on call it a controversial topic, what you will find are things that only validate that opinion instead of finding like maybe things that are more factual based, and that's kind of creating a problem out there. So as a part of that, among other things, there are some early adopters that were at Facebook and Google that have started their own startup.
What's it called?
To fight exactly that. I don't have the actual company name. Let me click on this link here.
God, those show notes are so copious.
Oh.
I don't even think that's the right word. What?
Oh, I'm sorry. Which part of the show notes did you write? Spicy show tonight, folks. Spicy show tonight.
What was your channel before this one?
While I'm waiting. Dirty. So dirty. Well, while I'm waiting for your awesome internet to load this link.
I'm sorry, that was uncalled for.
So not only is there that, but also Facebook has announced that they are starting to demo something that has been joked about for years, a dislike button, right?
Look,
for years, all you could do is the thumbs up, and now they're starting to do downvoting for comments.
I do not think that's a good idea.
You don't?
No, I don't.
That surprises me.
I know it surprises me, and I would have normally said yes, but here's the reason why I'm going to say no. There's a YouTube... What?
You want to try that again with less emphasis on the syllables?
Evidently, I'm a grandpa right now. I found more gray hair in my beard because now that I've grown it out, I can find more
dude,
gray.
I'm telling you.
Yeah.
I'm telling you. It's a thing. It's a real thing.
So, there's a YouTuber out there named Danny Winget. You know Danny.
Yeah.
Scientific or something like that. But Danny, he had to turn off the thumbs up and thumbs down on his videos because there was a bot.
Yeah.
A Russian bot.
Yep.
He actually was basically being blackmailed. They got an email, several emails from him, that said, give me $500 or I'm going to continue to downvote. Which
they wanted crypto, right?
No, they wanted
money.
They just want straight cash.
That's interesting. That
So
tells you
I
how
thought
far the crypto market's fallen. So,
which I thought was interesting. But the big thing was, they said if you don't stop, we're going to continue to keep downvoting, which normally is not a big deal, except when the video crosses kind of like that 50% threshold of
likes versus dislikes.
It gets basically dropped off the planet from an SEO perspective.
And these are all assumptions because part of the problem with YouTube is, I guess the problem and the benefit, I don't know, it's they don't publicize any of that information. So for us as content creators to try and figure out how do we best maximize our time and any money that we spend on advertising or anything like that, you don't know. It's a big black box. You basically just have to make a series of educated guesses, and hope that you can find somebody else who might also have some missing pieces of the puzzle that you can kind of collaborate with. And
what you did there? I sees it.
I sees it.
Mike from we had mentioned Mike before. He has a theory, and I think it's a very interesting theory. I actually don't think it's theory. I think it's grounded in really good facts.
Especially since it kind of validates what our assumptions were for how the whole YouTube algorithm thing works. But to the point of social media, though, this kind of brings us full circle instead of letting us kind of tangent off in the middle of nowhere. It brings us full circle back to the fact that there are algorithms out there that are basically driving content towards you. And are we going to start to see a shift in that because of kind of the implied social responsibility that some of these social networks have for driving content that may or may not even be factually based? I mean, I don't think that it's any coincidence that we've seen a massive resurgence in flat earthers. Because if you want to find that information, you can find it. And once you start digging into that, that's what you get.
I mean,
confirmation bias,
it's a lot
man.
Like, the whole... I can't even say it. I can't even say it because I don't believe it. The whole, we didn't really go to the moon.
Yeah.
I can't even
moon
say it.
Houses,
I can't say that.
Yeah.
Because it just sounds so ridiculous to me.
And
especially given what we saw earlier this week, but whatever.
Oh yeah. We got to get there too.
We'll get there.
Yeah.
But I mean, not just for me, you're right. The echo chamber is a problem, but you get into the conversation of, are you now being censored?
And that's a hard one. I am very much a proponent of free speech. Like I do not like even the idea of censorship in any way, shape, or form. But we have finally come to the point where even I'm like, okay, there might be an argument for censorship, but the problem is like how do you have intelligent censorship? Like there's an absolute argument to be made for if I want to look up what the argument for not landing on the moon is. If I want to see what the I don't want to be insulted. If I want to see what the crazies are saying about not landing on the moon.
But part of the problem that you run into is because there's other things that's based on algorithms, such as you want more of this content. I have an algorithm over here that says you search this. I have access to your search history.
Yeah.
Here's a whole bunch of other things that are about this, and then you're right. You get stuck. And just like Larry said, raise your hand if you've ever been disturbed by the Amazon shopping suggestions. That's the thing. Yeah. We might in our heads we might have said I don't want any more content about flat Earth, but man, look at this other thing. It's like now you're starting to go down a path of that's all right. That's another thing, and yet again another thing.
Yeah,
but you're getting caught. But again, they're feeding content to you based on algorithms that humans built.
So I got two things that I want to say.
Mr. Mayo, welcome,
Mr. Mayor. So there's kind of two things I want to say about that. First being, there's a tie-in to AI here. Don't let me leave that one.
Okay. And that's just like Go Cell Phone Repair said. They feed you whatever you agree with,
but
to get
now,
the opposite effect.
So if we start to step in and say now. So there's a justifiable reason for why we would consider censoring something on the internet, which again I think is just right on the line of being absolutely abhorrent. But so the flip side of that becomes okay. So let's say that we start to censor things that are verifiably wrong or things that are controversial opinions and stuff like that. Now that needle's going to switch to the other side of trying to get the truth out becomes difficult. That's the slippery slope that everyone's afraid of.
But hang on. I'm going to go back to the algorithm, right? I search something.
Yeah.
And then an algorithm pumps more in.
Yeah.
I didn't ask for the more in. I just wanted this. I don't want the suggestions.
Yeah.
I'm going to search out the information. Give me access to that information.
Sure.
And I'll make that determination.
Well, okay.
Don't give me the suggestions.
Now, let's think about how all of this got started, though. Think about how Google got to be in the position that it's in. And the way that it did that is because the internet is entirely too big for you to just have a raw listing of, I want to search for a thing and get all of your lists back. So there has to be some type of an algorithm that crafts
I understand that.
Ranked results. But it has to be there.
Oh, no, I'm sure that there is. But it's the same thing with, just like Larry was talking about, the whole Amazon suggestions.
Yeah.
I see that you search for cell phone case. Here's 50, 100 billion more cell phone cases. And that's why I have a stack right over there of cell phone cases, because I'm like, man, it's only $7.99. It's only, that would look real good.
That's because you lack impulse control.
But I don't disagree with that.
Okay, thank you.
I'm not disagreeing with
you're
that.
You're going to argue with that.
No. I'm not disagreeing with that. But if I didn't, it's the perfect example of I didn't see it, I didn't buy it. I didn't know what I wanted to want.
Yeah, that's fair.
And that's so that but again, if I don't have that algorithm pumping those things to me, if I search out I search out a flat Earth comment, I want just what I searched for. I don't want it. It's going to be in my search history. I get that.
You almost need disposable search results. You know what I mean? Like, I'm going to be able to look something up without being associated with one of those people. You know what I mean?
That's why you have incognito mode.
Yeah, I mean, I guess, but
that's why incognito mode exists, right? It's so it doesn't show up in your search history.
Yeah.
That's the only reason why incognito mode exists.
That's totally it.
That's just the only reason. Nothing else. Just because of flat earthing, evidently.
But to his point in the comments, that now ISPs can sell that information back. That's why all this net neutrality thing has become such a big deal. Oh, the other point that I wanted to bring up. So what you're talking about as far as like
cell phone cases.
As far as algorithms like driving information to you and stuff like that, like there's a real if we can't figure this out with social media, which is arguably dumb, like there's no intelligence behind that, that exact same problem of how do you like maximizing utility to a person, right? How do you teach an AI, hey, I want this thing, but not too much of it? It's the paperclip problem that I know we've talked about a million times before, but in short, you could create, hypothetically, follow me on this thought experiment.
Let's go on a journey.
If you had a machine driven by artificial intelligence and you said to the AI, I want you to make as many paper clips as you can, it's not unreasonable, it's not illogical for artificial intelligence to then come back and say, well, humans consume a lot of resources. If I got rid of the humans, I would have more resources to make paper clips from.
Bingo.
Right? So that's an extreme example, but it really highlights the question of how do you teach an algorithm? How do you teach software what you mean when you say, I want this? I want it, but I don't want it. Like, I don't want it right now, and I don't want a lot of it, but I just want it. But not all of it at once. There's way too many
So my question is
nebulous things.
My question is, what were we like without it? We are a generation.
Yeah.
We are one of the generations that didn't have. We were like the last one that didn't have internet. in school.
We sit on both sides.
We sit on both sides of the fence,
and then we had it.
And so it's very interesting because I know what it was like before.
Yeah.
When you wanted a Christmas present as a kid, you went out and you got that Toys R Us.
The Sears catalog.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
I got Toys R Us catalog,
Yeah.
man. You get out there or you go out.
I still have the very last Sears catalog ever printed.
Really?
Boom shakalaka. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
You should share that.
Cool story, bro.
Cool story. Cool story, bro. But the point is that was what it was before. So we didn't know what we didn't know what we wanted unless we looked in a book. Mm-hmm. That was the way that it was. Now we have things constantly telling us what we want. It is so fun story. Reading a book, and by reading a book I mean listening to it on audio. Essentialism.
Oh yeah.
And so this goes right up with the point is we are a civilization that are bombarded by choices.
Oh yeah.
Constant choices.
To our
and
detriment.
it's because just like Mike had said,
Yeah.
I had always hoped that technology would solve the problem of people just believing what they want to believe. And
up until maybe 5 years ago, I honestly thought that was going to be the case. Like Facebook, you always heard about the Facebook memes of these weird insular communities kind of existing on Facebook, but it's really not until, again, probably within the last 5 years that it really feels like it's come to a head. And now it's like, whoa, I feel like we wake up in the morning in this world that's like a weird, I don't know,
it's
shadow
like, it's
of
like
what
Black Mirror.
Yeah, it really is, man.
That
it really
show
is.
terrifies me because
Of how accurate it is.
it's not inaccurate. I could absolutely see.
It's an absurdist portrait. Like they take common sense things that we see happening now, and they take it to like the absolute logical conclusion that you can get to, or illogical conclusion. And
I'm not sure that it's illogical in every case.
But okay, that might be the case. But the point is that they try and overblow everything to show how absurd this one point is that they kind of craft the entire narrative of the story around. It's a great show. But
I never got past the second episode.
You watched the first one?
With the Prime Minister?
Yeah.
Okay, no. I only got past the first one. I never got past the first one.
Look, let me tell you something. The people that pitched that show and said, no, here's the first episode we're going to have.
I have never watched
souls.
it. I have never
Brave
watched
souls.
it since then. If you guys have seen Black Mirror, yeah, I'm assuming some of you have.
Oh my God,
I am
that
assuming
show
some
is-
of you have. Let me just go ahead and tell you this. From what I have been told, if you can get past the first episode, it's a great, great show and a great series. I could not get past that first episode. I watched that first episode absolutely horrified.
There's an episode in there that
my
has
God.
it has a lot to do with kind of like that Facebook mentality of basically the short version is your credit score is basically derived by how many likes you get throughout the day type of deal.
Oh my God.
That is the one that I've had the hardest time. I've watched that in pieces no less than 4 times because it is so overwhelmingly uncomfortable for me to watch. Not that I think that we're going to get to that point anytime soon.
Oh, God,
but
I can't
the
even fathom
implication of it is just so... It's hard, man. It's heartbreaking.
Yeah, just like Larry said,
Skip the first one.
I'm telling you right now, if you want to watch the series, skip the first one. The first one is so out there.
And after the one, I can't... It might be Jessica Chastain. I think she plays the lead in that episode. Anyway, so I have never made it to the end of that episode, and I have never watched an episode after that. It is... Boy, I gotta be in the
credit score one?
The credit score one, yeah.
And that's in season one. Brian's talking about. He's
that's
it was disturbing. Yeah. And I'm going to tell you what right now. I'm going to go on record.
Yeah.
If my credit score was based on the number of likes that I get in a day, I'm never, ever buying a new
I won't even
car.
be able to rent.
Oh, man.
For sure. Anyway, so to tie this whole thing up in a nice little bow, people from Facebook and Google got together to create this thing that they're calling the Center for Humane Technology. The idea is that they want to start to supply the other side of the narrative, try and fight the idea of technological addiction, and hopefully get to the point where maybe we can kind of rein in social media a little bit. And so, again, my statement, I still think that you're witnessing the beginning of the reckoning for social media. Social media is not going to, hopefully, not going to be allowed to just kind of run amok.
Dalton Root says, I love you, Greg.
I love you too, Dalton. Hugs and kisses, XOXO. Yeah. So
I'm telling you right now, I keep thinking about Black Mirror, man. Man, that episode.
You're stuck in there too.
God, that
You're
episode's
stuck.
so bad.
You want to talk about Apple?
It's so disturbing. Sure.
Let me distract you for a little bit. Apple had a bad day. Apple had a real bad day.
While they did release the new HomePod today, officially.
They did, and even iVerge is crapping on it. So
I have a HomePod. It's right over there. Should I get it?
There's a joke. No, I think you should tease it for the video.
I have a HomePod. It's in the video. It's this week, and it's right over there.
Watch on Sunday. You'll see.
Mm-hmm. Literally sitting right there.
So, Apple was the victim of a hack of sorts. Basically, short version is somebody got a hold of all of the source code for iOS 9.
Oops.
And then they uploaded it to GitHub. And then they said, everybody come take a look. And on the surface, a lot of people are going to say it doesn't matter because if you look at your iPhone that you have there, LOL, the man running the Pixel,
please
pull up your iPad and check out the iOS version. You're probably on iOS 10 or 11, depending on how old you're.
Yeah, I think it's what 10.3. 10. I don't know.
You're probably on iOS 11 on all of your iDevices, all two of them. I think you have.
Oh, well, we all have MacBooks.
No, iOS, not macOS.
Okay, fair.
There's a difference. So most people are going to not pay much attention to the fact that iOS 9 source code was released, but it has a practical implication because a lot of the bits in the source code from iOS 9 are still used in iOS 11. So there's the potential for vulnerabilities and, more importantly,
11.2.
More importantly, jailbreaks might be coming back to Apple phones.
Do people still do this?
Well, okay, that's the interesting thing about this. I thought at least. So jailbreaks, I mean, you and I came up in the time when smartphones, you could jailbreak them, you put some custom ROMs on there, do all kinds of cool stuff.
Hack them.
Hack them, man.
Root
that was the very
Root
first
'em.
thing that we did. For a long time, that was the first thing we did with our phones. And same thing with...
oh, man, I remember those days.
Yeah.
Liberty ROM.
I'm trying to think. Carbon. You remember
Oh,
Carbon?
my God. I remember Carbon.
That was my jam, man. I loved Carbon.
Well, then you got to go with the old Steady. And it just had its own, what?
AOSP. Cyanogen.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I was stroking out there for a second.
Cyanogen
so big they made their own company.
Yeah.
That has since folded.
Wham, wham. That's because...
Fart noise.
That's because...
don't you have a sad trombone?
I do, but it takes too long to break it out. But yeah, so ROMing kind of fell by the wayside because two things. The OSs got substantially better, number one. And I think that's probably the biggest one. And number two, at least in Apple's case, they introduced the Secure Enclave chip, which meant it was exponentially more difficult for jailbreaks to happen on iDevices. Now, with the release of this iOS 9 source code, and it's our thing.
It's all the things.
All of the things, including code that is used right now called iBoot, the startup manager for all of iOS. So, yeah. The theory is that we're probably going to start to see at least tethered jailbreaks happening on modern iDevices, which I think is really interesting. It'll be interesting to see whether or not anyone cares anymore.
Well, there's one reason to care. One.
Why?
Screen recording. I don't think
you can't do that on
I don't think you can.
iOS?
I believe Larry has an iPhone X. Larry, can you do screen recordings on your iPhone X? I don't think you can.
Shocked if you
I'm
could
telling
not do
you,
screen
I
recording.
don't think you can.
That
I'm
would
gonna
be
go right now. That was one of the reasons people
be
could not do screen records. Maybe they have since
bananas.
I know at one point they couldn't. I can tell you that right now. Which
that would be it would be.
Well, I mean, why would they give access to a company or to an app that does that?
Yeah.
Android had the same problem for a long time, and then they finally let non-rooted phones do that.
I guess.
I don't understand the point not allowing it. I'm telling you,
Hang
I'm
on.
pretty sure.
Real quick, while I'm thinking of it, okay, since he's still in chat, an early happy birthday to Mr. Dalton. His birthday's tomorrow.
Happy birthday, Dalton. Happy birthday.
Got
Thanks
you,
for
fam.
coming.
Announced for the whole internet to see.
You are on the internet with two random
Forever.
dudes. Well, not random. You know that one.
I'll say that you totally don't know at all.
You don't really know me, right?
He knows you.
Really?
Yes.
Oh.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Happy birthday.
Anyway,
I don't think you can screen record on an iPhone. I'm telling you, that is one of the reasons why people... And that's a great reason to do it. It was great for a YouTuber to do.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
There's no question.
Yeah.
By the way,
Yeah.
I was this close to getting an iPhone X.
Why?
I'm writing off on my taxes.
I mean, I guess. Sure,
It's
why
for the
not?
channel.
Well,
Okay,
it's
so
for your
yes, you
wife.
can in 11 blah.
There you go. So,
Okay.
Yeah.
But
so
I know that
that's-
you
that's
couldn't. So
interesting
that was one thing that I know that for sure you could not do.
So I guess that helps if you have a device that's stuck on iOS 9.
Or 10.
That helps. Or potentially 10.
You
but
could just go get a Pixel.
the question becomes like how much code, which is really where the evaluation is probably just now happening on Apple's side, how much code from iOS 9 is still being used in iOS 10 and 11 and so on and so forth. The other interesting thing is that Apple actually has one of the highest bug bounties. You know what bug bounties are, right? So Apple has one of the highest. They will pay up to $200,000 for a vulnerability that they discover. So the fact that all of this source code for iOS 9 came out may allow some people to
Finally get paid.
Get that paycheck. You know what I'm saying?
Well, but that's here's the thing. That's a massive problem for Apple because they do not like letting people under the covers.
No,
at
they
all.
don't.
Like that is a walled garden for
Yeah.
a reason, and I will tell you why that walled garden.
Look at that plug, man. This Sunday.
This Sunday, I will tell you why that walled garden is exactly one of the decision factors in whether or not you should try that HomePod.
Now,
That guy right over there.
that one
Right
over yonder.
there.
Um,
But I'm telling you right now, that's an expensive problem because what they'll do, if they're Apple,
like a professional.
like a professional checking your phone, that's okay. It
No,
backfired on
that
me
was-
last week.
Yeah, sure did. Except for mine was ringing. I didn't just check it.
Oh, I would have answered it.
No.
No. Okay, fair. The problem is they're gonna want to fix that, and
Yeah.
in wanting to fix that, what does that mean? That means you have to pay people
Yeah.
to code.
I mean, look, honestly, I think that's a...
It's an expensive
That's-
problem. People are the most expensive.
No,
People
I
typically are the
agree.
most expensive what?
You want to try that again?
Resource. Thank you.
For sure. I
smell.
honestly, I don't think that it's going to be that big of a deal for him. I really don't. I mean, I would be...
I think it's an expensive mess.
Maybe.
I don't think it's like
It all
it's a
boils
drop
down
in the
to...
bucket for Apple.
It
of
all
course.
boils down to how much code are they reusing from OS to OS to OS. Now 9 and 11, it seems like if you look at like the grand scheme of how mobile phone operating systems have progressed, in the beginning, code was basically like it was a hot trash, so they just rewrote like every handful of versions. Now things are kind of hitting steady state. So like if you look at the Android side, what is fundamentally the difference between Oreo and Nougat and Marshmallow? Like, are there really that many significant differences? Or have we pretty much gotten to steady state at the OS and it's little things here and there above and beyond? You know what I'm saying?
I could tell you.
Yeah.
Oh man, between N and O. I don't know if I could answer that. I don't. So, I could answer that. It's not a lot.
I'm sure that it's
between
not a lot.
N and not much.
I would say
it cannot be that much.
It has to be pretty insubstantial, and I would imagine that iOS 9 is probably not far from that. So you're probably looking at rewriting a handful of things. But I don't think that this is a problem for Apple. I think what this might encourage is especially the entrepreneurial people that are going to look at this and say, I could really cash out. If I find a really critical flaw in iOS 9, a really critical flaw, and then I'm able to say that this still works in iOS 11, or even iOS 10, maybe even iOS 9, submit that to Apple, get my paycheck, all because I had access to that source code that was out there.
Okay, I can buy that.
You see what I'm saying?
So basically they're going to crowdsource their security flaws.
It could turn out to be that way. Now,
because I can tell you, $200K is significantly less than what it would cost them to pay a bunch of engineers to code.
Probably. Now, unfortunately, this also gives a massive advantage to state actors that may or may not want to circumvent things. So, yeah. All right, I beat that one to death. Now, the one I'm excited for.
Rocket launched. Next topic. Oh no! Jerk! I didn't!
Jerk! You totally stole my thunder. There's a thing. There's a thing that happened.
What was that, Wednesday?
I think it was. I watched it. Yeah, I think it was Wednesday. Yeah.
It was Wednesday.
Oh, absolutely.
Couldn't get the stream to work.
Really?
I had to go back and rewatch it. I didn't hear any spoilers. I don't know how you would spoil that anyway. But I didn't watch any spoilers from the Falcon Heavy.
So, yeah. So for anybody who lives under a rock and hasn't paid attention to any form of news or media or anything at all in the last week, the Falcon Heavy launched from SpaceX. This is remarkable for a number of reasons. The biggest one is because it is now the most powerful rocket in the world. Not in history, of course, but in the world currently. It is the most powerful rocket. Mm-hmm. Currently in production.
The only people that are going to beat that is SpaceX.
They already have plans.
That's what I'm saying.
The BFR.
Really?
Yeah. The big Falcon rocket, I think, is...
That's their only company that's going to beat them.
But yeah.
The only company that will beat them is themselves. Or the only person that will beat the record of what they have is themselves.
And they already have planned. That's going to be the vehicle that basically drives the majority of, like, deep space exploration. Well, hang on. Not deep space exploration, but, like
Mars exploration.
Potentially even asteroid belt reconnaissance from... There are a handful of companies. I don't know if you know this one. There's a handful of companies that exist right now. Their purpose is to do things like harvest water from the asteroid belts.
I did not know that.
We ain't anywhere close to that, but there are companies right now that are doing that. So that's the significance of this Falcon Heavy launch. So the short version is Elon Musk, smarter than pretty much everybody put together times 10, decided to basically lash 3 of his rockets together and juice it full and light a match under it and just let it see how far it could go.
What did that?
Boy, did it ever.
What is the current speed? I'm going to look it up.
It is 33.5 kilometers per second. It's hauling. So, like all of SpaceX's rocket launches, the intent was to recover the different stages, right? So there's the solid rocket boosters on the side, or no, sorry.
Those were Falcon 9s.
Those were, old Falcon 9s at that, which I thought was really interesting. I got deep on this one. So
yeah, I did not
Falcon
know.
9s that were on the side. There was a Falcon 9 that was in the middle, but it was a upgraded version of the Falcon 9 that was in the middle, the core as they call it. And then sitting on top was probably the coolest...
so dope.
The coolest like test payload you could ask for. It is Elon Musk's personal Midnight Cherry Roadster.
With the top down.
With the top down and a mannequin wearing a production spacesuit. That is their production spacesuit for
SpaceX.
For SpaceX. It was a oh god, what's the word for it? It's more than a prototype, but it was one of like the.
It wasn't an alpha, but it was beta.
More than a beta, even like that is the kind of hey, here's the production version. Why don't you check it out and see if you like it? Like, it's that close to production. So yeah, that's basically one of the production spacesuits that it'll wear. Tons of Easter eggs in this thing. I mean, there was so much cool stuff that happened with this launch. It's ridiculous. First of all, SpaceX, known for landing their rockets, reusable rockets, right? If you have not seen the video of the simultaneous landing of the first stage,
oh my
it is
God,
one
it was
of
so
the coolest
cool.
things I have ever seen. Simultaneous landing of a rocket, 2 rocket engines. The core did not make it.
No, it did not.
It hit the water real hard.
Real hard. It was 100 meters away from the autonomous drone ship. And one of the, correct me if I'm wrong, because
hit the water at 300 kilometers an hour.
Because one of the rockets, to slow it down, failed.
Well,
And
ran out of ignition.
smoked the water.
Smoke.
I don't know if
That
you guys
is a
are
mistake.
aware of this, but when you hit water at that speed, pretty much like concrete.
Oh yeah, just without question.
It was such a big deal. It actually like blew out the engines of the autonomous drone ship.
I think there are 3 engines on it, and it blew 2 of the 3.
Yeah, did.
So yeah. Oh yeah.
Little known fact that currently the car is. Oh, I have to math this. Okay, 147 million miles away from Mars.
Yeah.
And it is currently going towards that planet at a speed of 44,745 miles per hour.
Now, according to NASA, even that number is wrong. So the initial tweet that Elon Musk sent out. So rocket gets to space, rocket launches car orbits the Earth a couple of times. There is some live video that you can see. It's all over YouTube if you have not seen any shots from the car orbiting the Earth. And there's a bunch to talk about with the car too. So orbits the Earth a couple of times.
It just looks so dope.
It's
on their website.
So it orbits the Earth a couple of times. Then they fire up the I guess the single engine that's left. They send it out into the Van Allen radiation belts to kind of cook in raw radiation for 5 or 6 hours or so. Then they fired up the engines again, and it worked.
Did it?
Yeah.
I wondered if it did. I hadn't had a chance to check.
And they basically just opened up the throttle and said, I don't know, let's see how far it goes. So they got it up to, according to NASA, they got it up to about 33.2 or 0.5 kilometers per second. It will not make it to the asteroid belt, which was Elon's initial tweet that he sent out after it fired back up. It will fall short of the asteroid belt by a lot, unfortunately, but it's way more than enough to get it into a trans-Mars orbit. So it will...
What do you mean it won't get into the asteroid belt?
His initial tweet after the last burn, he said they ran the numbers and it looks like it's going to get out to... It's going to hit the asteroid belt. It will get out to the asteroid belt. Okay. It will not do that. It will fall very much short of that. According to kind of revised numbers by NASA, by a bunch of astronomers and stuff like that, who have done the data capturing or data gathering and data analysis. But it's more than enough to get it out past Mars. It's going to basically slingshot around Mars and then orbit around the sun, and it will orbit the sun every 18.8 months. Like, that's how fast it's going. 18.8 months. So it's
that's
cooking.
Moving.
Yeah, for something that small, that's cooking. And it will pass by the Earth in 11 years from now. So we might even be able to...
It will come back home. Well, it will pass back home at a substantially faster rate.
Yeah, it'll be cruising for sure. The car itself also has just a bunch of cool little Easter eggs. If you saw the video on the front, there's a "Don't Panic" on the dashboard, which I love. Big fan of Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy because I'm super dork, much like a bunch of other fellow nerd friends.
It's true.
In the glove box, I thought this was real. Oh, on the dashboard also there is if you look close enough, you can see a miniature car. Hot Wheels or Mattel produced a miniature version of that car. And so they miniaturized Starman.
That is like the most perfect marketing.
Yeah.
That is great.
Look, this whole thing has been a home run for marketing. Like, it does not... No one is even talking about the fact that the core crashed. Because first of all, according to Musk, he didn't even care about recovering the core. He wanted the first two stages. So
just to prove that he could do it.
No. Landing on the ground is the easy part for him. He wanted the first stages back because those stages have these upgraded, intensely expensive, hard to manufacture titanium fins that do, like, you see the fins deploy out.
Yeah.
So that's the whole reason why he wanted those back. But he goes, if I had to pick, I would choose the core to crash anyway. So I don't really care. It was an old one. None of it's getting reused. The only thing they wanted to do is repurpose the fins. So, I mean, from somebody who said that this was going to be a 50-50 shot of it working, everything that went right for him.
I mean, everything.
Everything.
The core is the only... That would have just been icing, honestly.
Yeah.
That would have been, okay, fine, I get it. I mean, that thing is cooking. They said, well, I think we did the math. It was like 56 days to reach Mars.
Yeah. Roundabouts. Well, so that was its...
I'm trying to
remember what the initial velocity we calculated.
31,000 kilometers an hour. I think that's what we said.
So it should get there. I mean, it's going to be effectively the same thing. It's going to be a difference of like hours, maybe a day at max.
I'm trying to figure out like what is the current speed, like what is currently at this very moment, because I'm sure that they know.
According to NASA, it's 33.5-ish kilometers per second.
According to this a website.
They're wrong.
Where'sroadster.com, not that it's not NASA or anything like that. It's moving at a speed of 44,757 miles an hour, or 72,029 kilometers an hour. That's substantially. That's double what we said when we did our.
Oh yeah.
So it could get to Mars based on that number
in like half the time.
Let me go to NASA.
You do your thing.
You
one of the other, so the we talked about the Don't Panic, we talked about the miniature roadster that was in the front with the miniature Starman that was in there too, which I also loved. But in the glove compartment of the car, I thought super interesting. There are these, I wouldn't call them experimental; they are production capable devices. But there's a storage medium that is in the glove box. Now, think those of you that know the Voyager. The Voyager had this golden disc. That had a whole bunch of, this was Carl Sagan's pet project that had a whole bunch of like just Earth-centric things. And the idea is that if for whatever reason the Voyager should come across any form of intelligent life out there, they would be able to potentially analyze this disk and get some information about the beings that sent it, because, I mean, odds are we would be long dead by that point. So Musk kind of took that into the 21st century, did something similar. There is a little disk, it's tiny, that holds upwards of 340 terabytes worth of data on this little tiny disk.
Crazy.
And the storage medium itself, they said, would last for like millions of years or something insane like that. I mean, super cool. On the disk itself is Isaac Asimov's Foundation trilogy, another of my favorites. Huge fan of Isaac Asimov. Oh my God, yes, Dean. Don't forget about Bowie playing that.
I know, right? What? Look, everything was perfect. Like they even
perfectly
synced it up.
Yeah.
It was perfect.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I don't understand. I can't.
It was
honest
super
to
cool.
God, I cannot find.
It was super cool.
I cannot find this answer. I cannot find it.
I'll show you. I'll show you a cool place later. I'll show you a thing that got me. It's pretty neat. It's
but the idea is if it's moving somewhere between 31,000 kilometers an hour and 70,000 kilometers an hour, it will arrive at Mars in 25 to 56 days.
Yeah.
So basically, a month,
1 to 2 months.
1 to 2 months, we will find out whether or not it made it. Now, there's no reason for it to not make it, but I'm going to tell you this, and I told you this the other day. If I find a live feed and something gets in the way of that feed, I'm going to freak out.
Yeah.
I'm going to freak out. I'm going to tell you right now.
I don't think we have to worry about that. So there's no solar panels. There's nothing on the car or on the platform that it's on at all to harvest any solar energy at all that would be able to keep the cameras going. So I think somebody in the comments asked whether or not we would be getting live data from Mars. Once the battery is dead, and I'm pretty sure it's dead at this point, it's really only, the batteries that were on board were really only enough to run things for a couple of days at best.
But I'm gonna tell
the
you,
batteries are dying and/or dead now, and that's it. That's all she wrote. From here on out, it's just
and that surprises me.
Of debris.
That surprises me.
Why?
It surprises me that they wouldn't have thought, I've got to figure out a way. Like, solar panels on something. I mean, it's Elon Musk, for God's sakes.
Okay, keep in mind.
He owns...
Got that.
Okay.
Got that. But keep in mind, this is a test payload. And traditionally in the past, the way that NASA would do test payloads is by lobbing hunks of concrete into space. So the fact that we have something infinitely more sexy than concrete on its way to Mars is a big win. That by itself
I agree. So I guess there was a successful launch, but I really, really, really wish they would have put solar panels on it just so I can see, like, I would love a live feed of what does that look like right now. Look, I was watching it. I was watching a live feed of a car with a fake man in it. Yeah. And it wasn't doing anything.
I watched it a lot, though. I
did too. I watched it all the time.
I had it on for like an hour plus at one point.
And it was doing nothing.
And I watched it. Not that I stared at it the whole time, but I had it on while I was like working on other stuff, and I would just look up and be like, "Oh, hey,
there's Earth.
There's the moon."
Right.
I don't know if you saw that one. That was really dope.
No, I didn't see it. Like, it's literally watching him do this.
And then occasionally you would see the Earth.
But, Australia, the entire continent.
There are some really sick-looking pictures, desktops that I'm sure people have made. I mean, think about the time we live in, people. You had somebody throw something into space, and we got live 1080p stream
on our phones
from space. That's bananas.
Think about that. I tweeted that. I said, guys, just for a moment, just take a second to realize where we are. We are watching someone shoot a Tesla, an electric car with a fictitious spaceman into space with the fastest rocket that we've ever seen. And it's going to go to Mars, and I'm watching it on my phone.
And it's super rad.
Via Twitter.
Yeah.
What?
God. I mean, so what's funny is that provides like the best segue ever. You got anything else to say about all the Falcon Heavy stuff? I can literally talk about it all day. I've done nothing but read about this. I've watched
because if I asked
2 hours worth of interviews.
If I ask the next question, we will never end the show. So I'm not going to ask the question.
I want to know what the question is.
I'm telling you, you're going to. It goes back into the question of you got a 50-50 shot. Are you going to
go?
No, can't do it. I can't. We'll go down this path. It's a situation of...
Can we put a pin in this? We'll bang through the rest of these, and then I got to know.
Elon Musk comes to you and says, I need you to go to Mars. 50-50 whether you make it back or not.
I can't do it right now.
And that was... See, those... I told you.
I can't do it right now because kids.
Correct.
But...
Man, if that 50%, though, you came back and you were the first man on Mars.
I saw that movie. It's a great movie.
First Man on Mars.
The book is better. No, The Martian.
No, I'm not talking about The Martian, the book. I'm talking about being legitimately... You are the first man on Mars. You are in space. You are in solitary confinement for 56 days. 56 days.
That's one way. That's
one way.
What does he want? Like,
you gotta hope that those things kick back up.
Did he leave his wallet and/or keys in the glove compartment of the Tesla, and he's asking me to go retrieve them? Like, hey, bro, I need you to do me a solid and go get my keys.
If Elon Musk looks at you and goes, "I'm going to shoot you in this big A rocket," and you are going to be the most famous person on the planet.
Yes.
When you get back,
yes,
your name will be your name
I don't care
will
about
be
the fame though.
Your name will be on the tip of the tongue for life.
I don't care. I'm actually
they will name elementary schools after you.
I am way less attracted to that, but the idea of being able to go to space and then like go explore Mars. Oh my God, yes.
You will have an elementary school named after you, and a high school probably, but not middle school.
I don't care about the praise. I don't care about any of that. Oh, man, so you brought up Twitter. You brought up Twitter. Twitter is finally profitable.
Oh, it is?
They posted their first profitable quarter ever.
How many nickels did they make?
Right?
They couldn't have made that much.
I mean, it's not good, but it has caused their stock to jump, which is, I mean, good for them. For a while now, people have been saying that this is basically the death knell for Twitter unless they can figure out how to post. They are up their Q4 earnings 19 cents per share compared to the 14 cents that they were that the analysts were basically calling for. Based on the fact that they posted their first profit ever, their stock immediately jumps 15%. Just based on that alone, which means their profit actually went up after that. So that's great news. And because of that, Twitter is now bigger and worth more than Snap. Which
Look,
I also think is interesting. Snapchat's in trouble.
Snapchat is in trouble.
Snapchat's in trouble.
Snapchat's latest update, bad.
It's not good. There's a lot of people that are like table flipping angry at Snapchat for that.
There was a tweet
Yeah.
that said, at what? What?
I'll wait.
There is a tweet
Yeah.
about a person who DM'd Snapchat and said, how many retweets for you to go back to the old way?
Ooh.
And they're like, we're getting all kinds of feedback, but 50,000. When I checked, it had 650,000 retweets. 650,000. It's not good.
Hello, scientist community. Excellent continuation. Goodbye.
What? Godspeed on
thanks
your
for-
trip to space to the mighty spaceman.
Thanks for watching. With a question mark afterwards.
Rabbits.
Yes.
Send them to space.
Yeah.
I don't even know what happened.
I got nothing. But yeah, I am interested to see
gross.
whether or not Snapchat can recover from this. I mean,
The problem is Instagram just blatantly ripped off Snapchat
and
and
winning.
then made it way better though.
Yeah.
Made it
Yeah.
way
Yeah.
better.
I mean, I think there's interesting things about Snapchat, like the idea of throwaway conversations. I'm actually really fascinated by, because it's like, so you know this about me. I am. I'm about to show my
God.
cards here. I'm very interested in mindfulness. So the idea
Okay.
that you could have an entire conversation where you have to be in that moment. You have to be right there, right now, having that conversation right then without basically any other distractions, or you miss it. I think that's a really interesting concept.
I don't like it.
It makes it a pain in the butt for communication.
It's awful.
It's super difficult, but it's
The most interesting part, it validates everything that we say about the generation after us. Their content, the way that they choose to consume media,
yeah.
is typically in video. Snapchat is nothing more than just quick video.
Yeah.
That's what they want.
Yeah.
Great for YouTubers.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
It's great for us.
I mean, we're here because of that, basically. So
But the issue that I have is, like, when you want to have a traditional conversation, they're using it for traditional conversations, and it's just, for me, it just doesn't work. Prepare yourself. Prepare.
okay.
I'm very verbose. I am long-winded. I like telling stories.
No.
I like to engage in conversation.
Let-
I enjoy talking with my hands.
I'm so shocked.
I enjoy trying
you're
to-
ruining my picture of you.
Okay. I'm trying to engage the... I want to bring people in with the conversations that I'm having,
Yeah.
and I can't do that with, oh, hey, look at this cool thing. Okay, bye.
Vine.
I look, but the problem is I love watching Vines.
And that's my point, is I think the thing that Snapchat is missing is the ability to, fine, have your throwaway conversations, but the success of Vine tells me that there is absolutely viability in that short form, short content, throwaway type of stuff.
But it's not throwaway. Vine's not throwaway.
Vine is not.
LeBron James.
Okay, Vine is throwaway in the sense that it's like record it and go.
Yeah.
There's like a little bit of kind of post-production editing type of thing.
Real light.
But you've seen some of the cool stuff that
Yeah.
people were able to do with it. That is what Snapchat missed out on. If Snapchat could grab a hold of the thing that made Vine successful, which is the ability to publish content in the same way using all the existing stuff with Snapchat. Live in both worlds, fine. You can have your throwaway conversations, but I want to be able to record something and say, that was actually really good. Let me dig that out, post it, and now you've got a library of a YouTube-like thing that you can go look at. That would set Snapchat apart, because guess what? Vine's coming back.
They're coming back.
It's back from the dead.
A lot. There are Viners out. Viners?
Sure.
Vineys?
Vine. Well, it wouldn't be Vineys.
So YouTubers, Viners.
Yeah.
Yeah, Viners.
That's weird.
That's really weird. I don't like that. People who were really big content creators on Vine.
One of the most... Well, there's two that I'm thinking of.
I hate one. I'm going to mention his name. Logan Paul started on Vine.
Oh, ugh.
Did you know that?
I did not know that.
Yeah, he started on Vine. And look at the success that he's had on this platform.
Well,
we'll get to it.
We're going to get there.
We're going to get there, but the problem is, like, he had success on this platform.
Yeah.
And he started on Vine. There's a lot of people who are on YouTube.
I was going to bring
that has had what? They started on. See what had happened was.
I was going to bring up. There's a guy who I think he goes by ProZD, but he's got a bunch of. They're all video game trope related videos, but video game video. They're all like video game tropes. But he started out on Vine, just kind of recording these super quick clips of him kind of poking fun at video game culture, like the mainstays of video games, and they were hilarious. Like, if you played video games, a lot of them absolutely made sense and clicked, and it was funny. And it worked for him on Vine. He's tried to take the same thing and apply it to YouTube, but YouTube being like absolutely different in terms of like how monetization works and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It doesn't have the same grab that it did on Vine. So again, 100% think that there is room for that kind of short form content, and Snapchat is missing out.
I almost wonder if that's why Snapchat changed to the way that they look, because it has a channel-like feel.
Yeah.
It has a significant channel-like feel. Bad Dad started on Vine. Yeah. Oh my God, I love Bad Dad.
Bad Dad. Yeah.
Dad! Dad! God, what? Great.
I forgot about Bad Dad.
He had tons of success.
Yeah.
Because, man, I hate that Vine went away. Man, that boy got paid, though.
Yeah, he did.
Got paid.
Yeah, he did.
He's coming back with Vine 2, and I'm excited. And I'll be honest, I have got to figure out how we can utilize Vine 2, because
I think you would do Vine 2.
Oh, God, I love Vines, man. I would totally do Vine 2. The thing is, like, I don't have to do any type of editing. I can just give you this, quick 6 to 10 seconds.
Which is why our live show exists, because editing sucks.
Editing is it's just not fun. It's just not fun. But
I
the thing is,
like it, but I have so much time and room and patience for it before I'm like, I need something else to do.
And but the thing is, like, I want to bring content, and I want to bring our opinions and content. Like, I got this dope case, you should totally buy it. Look, that's 6 seconds.
5-minute video.
That's not a 5-minute video, and I feel bad. I don't.
Yeah.
I do feel bad, but I don't feel bad from a perspective of we're going out here, you should buy this product, you shouldn't buy this product. It's just one of those things, like, I could totally do that same thing with Vine.
Yeah.
And it's, that would be great. It would be perfect. Really excited about Vine 2.
I hope that it actually happens.
It's happening. No, it's happening.
Well, but it's not out yet.
It is in super alpha mode with a very limited number of people testing it.
Sure, and I've seen a lot of super alpha things that just never come to pass. So I hope that it happens. Funny story, Google Glass is having a bunch of success in industry now. So they've taken that product and they've actually found a niche for it. And more than anything, I hope that continues to kind of develop. And, oh my God, they find the thing, like it's missing the killer app. It's missing the reason why you absolutely have to have it. But whatever.
I don't see it yet for regular everyday carry.
So it's so funny. You've had like the last like 2 absolutely clutch transitions between topics. So you brought up Logan Paul. Mm-hmm. Logan Paul got in trouble again. Nobody's surprised by that. I don't like Logan Paul, but I don't really care for the YouTube personalities they're just.
I have a problem with Logan Paul because his audience is children, and the content that he produces is not what I would want my children to watch. For sure. There are some things like we have had a conversation with a good friend of ours about why don't you just teach your kid to curse?
Oh,
great comment, great in theory. it's only in theory. And the reason is because as a parent, I want to keep them kids as long as I possibly can.
Yeah.
That is the reason. I want to keep them kids and children absolutely as long as I possibly can. The way that the world is today, it's scary. And I want them to have the innocence of a childhood because they deserve to have that. And it's the same type of concept with Logan Paul. You are bringing things up that I don't want to have a conversation. It's not that I don't ever want to have the conversation. I don't want to have the conversation with my kid right now about what happened in that forest in Japan. I don't want to have that conversation with an 8-year-old, a 10-year-old.
Yeah.
And my kids do not watch Logan Paul. I should keep that.
Oh, yeah.
No, we do not.
Number one, my kids are too young. They wouldn't get
correct.
it anyway. But number two...
But the thing is like...
No.
They're probably old enough to understand the concept of that. But for God's sakes, when I was that age, I was playing basketball and baseball with my friends. Let them be kids.
And that's the dangerous part about... full circle back to our first comment about the reckoning for social media and stuff like that. I'm telling you, we're going to start to see some pushback from that because you're absolutely right. And there's a lot of other parents that are out there that... this is not the first time that YouTube has gotten in trouble for accidentally having... kids have access to stuff that they really should not have access to.
Absolutely. And again, I keep coming back to it. It's, for me, I want to keep them kids as long as I possibly can. But, man, there's got to be something. There's got to be a better way.
Yeah.
And I don't know if there's ever going to be a better way. Maybe.
I mean, yeah. This is like pie in the sky stuff that you and I talk about a lot in terms of, well, yeah, you could fix this, but here's what it would require, and people are just not willing to do that.
I don't understand how he takes a month off and goes,
so let me,
you know what?
Hang on, let's
Great
explain,
idea.
Let's explain why he got in trouble again. So, again, in case you haven't heard about the latest YouTube drama, Logan Paul got in trouble a couple of months ago for going to Japan and filming some stuff that he really should not have filmed. I'm not going to get into it. You can look it up if you really need to. But it was dark. It was severely messed up. And like you said, the fact that it was marketed towards kids is, in my opinion, reflective of, if not his character, then his mental state. Like the way that he goes about producing content, which is, I don't care, I just want clicks. Okay, fine. So he got in trouble for that. He got kicked off of YouTube's premier ad tier, and he got kicked off of YouTube Originals. If that doesn't mean anything to you, what that basically means is...
Payday.
Super big payday. Where we're at in terms of YouTube ad revenue, we make nothing. He is at the preferred tier, which means he makes bank on every ad that rolls on his video because he's a huge YouTuber.
And he gets a ton of it because there's eyeballs, and companies want eyeballs on content.
Yeah. He was also on what's called YouTube Original. So if you are paying for YouTube, if we pay for YouTube sort of because we have Google Music.
Yeah.
If you have Google Music, then you have an automatic subscription to what is called YouTube Red. It is ad-free YouTube, and oh my God, do I love it. I would not pay for it independently.
It's funny that we make money on ad revenue, and that's legitimately like our number one stream of money.
Without question.
Without question, that's our number one stream of money. And we both have YouTube Red.
Yeah.
And we make...
We pay ourselves. Yeah.
Pennies. Like, no joke. Pennies on the dollar compared to regular ad revenue.
Without question. But anyway, so if you have YouTube Red, you also have access to these things called YouTube Originals. It's the same exact concept as Netflix Originals. The idea is that YouTube is trying to kind of start up their own content creator network based on the content creators that they have already on the platform. Makes sense that the first people that they reached out to are the most popular YouTubers, of which one of them was Logan Paul. So he does the thing in Japan. He gets kicked off of the premium tier, the preferred tier ads. So he's not making nearly as much money now. And he gets kicked off of YouTube Originals. So that is now gone. And now they just announced that he is no longer going to get ad revenue at all on his videos, at least temporarily, because in the last month, after taking a month off, he tased a rat on a video.
That was the first video back. No. Wasn't his first video back like a big sorry?
Yeah.
And then the second video back was tasing
a rat. And I don't...
A dead rat.
But still.
No, it's the truth.
Yeah,
it was a dead rat.
Yeah.
But why?
And that's what I don't get. And different strokes for different folks. I get all that. But it just seems in poor taste especially given what you just got in trouble for. You know what I mean?
So, okay, I cannot believe I'm going to take this, but it just popped into my mind. What about the guys on Jackass?
They got in trouble for doing stuff to dead animals.
They did.
Oh yeah.
Okay, I didn't know.
I mean,
when they did stuff to themselves, it's one thing.
I'll say it's trouble relative, though. Keep in mind the time frame in which Jackass came up.
Fair.
Also, keep in mind that the way the payment structure works was different for Jack. Like, that was a produced show. Mm-hmm. They basically had already gotten paid, and
you know how much they made? Like nothing. Like $5,000 for a season.
Well,
and they recorded a season
version,
like and like the OG, they got like $5,000 per season, and they banged out like 45 episodes in like a 4-day time span. Oh, it's just a different time.
Completely different time.
Sorry,
but so he did all that, and then he went on Twitter and said he posted a tweet on Twitter that said, "I will eat a Tide Pod for every retweet that this gets." So again, like, you're not. Like, this is a problem that we're dealing with right now, is idiots that are eating Tide Pods. Things that I don't think anybody is under any ill assumptions that they're edible.
Why? Okay.
I don't know. I legitimately do not know.
Look, I did dumb things when I was...
Yeah.
I did dumb things. I did a lot of dumb things.
Yeah. We can compare, but... I mean,
man,
you probably win. You're dumber than me, so...
Eating a Tide... I am dumber than you. There's no doubt. I am dumber than you. I don't deny that 1 second. I'm better looking. But
there it is. I was like, you got... I know you. I know you're going to fight back somehow. The Tide Pod thing I don't get, fundamentally. I just don't.
I don't understand it. But the thing is like, when people... Like, what is that? Scare tactics? Not scare tactics. Fear factor.
Yeah.
Like, eat this insect.
Oh, no. All edible things, though. That's the difference. Fear factor...
No, I'm not saying like I couldn't do that.
Oh,
like, I'm saying like absolutely like eating a Tide Pod doesn't like eating a cockroach, no. Mm-mm.
Yeah, I wouldn't eat any of those things. Hey, think about it wiggling in your mouth.
Oh no! What about? Look, I worked at a grocery store. This sounds awful. This is terrible. This is awful. This is so bad.
Follow me on a journey.
Follow me on a journey. Follow me. This was probably, I'll bet you, this was the better part of 2 decades ago, if not almost exactly 2 decades ago.
Okay.
I worked in a grocery store. I have never heard of such a creature. I shall have to Google it. A cockroach? What did I say?
I don't know. It's probably something stupid.
I probably did say something stupid. But I
Or
worked...
a Tide Pod. I'm hoping that it's cockroach. Maybe it's called something different over there.
Could be.
In the UK, I'm sure it's called like a fundally diddly daddly or something. You know what I mean? Like, all the ridiculous names. Dean, you know I love you to death. You know this. You know this.
I can't believe you call it that.
It's aluminum, not aluminium. Like, come on.
No, it's aluminium.
Oh, stop.
In one of my videos,
stop pandering to the audience.
In one of my videos, I said aluminium. I did do. No one got it. By the way, no one has still found that illustrious video that we've all talked about.
Yes.
Oh, no, it's Tide. Like the laundry detergent. Anyway, on this journey... when I worked at this grocery store, we had a meat and seafood department. We had live lobsters.
Yeah.
You pick out a lobster, and we prepare it for you.
Yes.
Well, I don't know if you know this, but when you prepare a lobster, it screams.
I was actually unaware of that.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we had a steamer where you put the lobster in, and it screams.
Well,
now the thing is,
I don't think it's actually screaming.
It's not,
I wonder if that's just
it's the
moisture
meat.
escaping. Yeah,
it's the meat and the moisture escaping.
That's still disturbing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It screamed.
Yeah.
It sounded like a screaming animal.
Yeah.
And I still to this day cannot eat seafood.
Really?
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah, I can't do it.
I love seafood.
I can't do it.
I mean,
I absolutely will not without and I can't.
You're talking to somebody who is absolutely capable of separating moral consumption problems. You know what I mean? Like,
no, I'm not saying from a morality perspective. I can't unsee things.
The only one that I'm not really comfortable with, but it's still delicious. And this is going to get me in trouble. Veal. I can deal with veal as long as I don't think about it. If I don't think about it before I order it, I could do like a veal parmesan.
I don't order it.
I don't go out of my way to order it.
Look, I'm gonna tell you this much. I am as plain. I'm American plain as it gets, and you know this.
Give me beef.
I always
Give me
get
steak.
teased. Yep, I always get teased about it.
Yeah.
I am plain. I don't like to change things up.
You are hamburgers and apple pie American.
I am.
Baseball and
That's
actually,
it.
Yeah,
That's legitimately me. It's not that I don't like that other food. I love food. I absolutely do. I will eat sushi. Sure, absolutely.
I love sushi.
Love sushi, but I just don't go out of my way to get it.
Yeah.
It's just look. I love pizza. I'm very plain.
Yeah.
I'm a very plain person. And stupid, evidently.
All right, one more.
I don't eat Tide Pods.
Oh yeah. Well, so that makes you smarter than at least some portion of the population. You have
Boom.
that going for you.
Yes.
Which is nice. One more topic, and
Which
then we'll
one?
call it. I want to do the AI one.
Go ahead.
So
Stupid show.
So you're mad at HQ for a whole slew of other reasons.
It's fixed.
Quite possibly now.
Exactly.
So, if you have never heard of this little app that is kind of blowing up the charts right now called Trivia HQ, it exists. The shtick with it, the hook, if you will, is that you can play trivia live a couple times throughout the week. I think they do
a couple times a day.
Oh, a couple times a day.
3 and 9.
Wow. So yeah, you can play trivia live a couple times a day, and you get, if you win, real money. Now, that money is split across the total number of winners, and in the handful of times that we have played it, we have seen typical jackpots of like the $2,500 type of range.
Which means you get approximately 6 cents.
No, you got more than that.
$6.
Yeah, you're not getting rich quick. It's 12 questions, and mind you, the questions are hard.
Once you get past like the first 2, it's like
the first 2 are absolute gimmies. Like
you're like, what color is this phone case?
Yeah, it's stupid stuff. Like, what color is this blue light? And
Blue?
you would be amazed at the number of people that get the first couple of questions wrong.
And now
the very first question wrong.
And that makes sense as to why.
Yes. So when you get all the way to the end, if you answer all 12 questions, you get a portion of the jackpot. For the most part, you're talking about, I think the most I've ever seen people win is like $30, and that was like a large jackpot that was split between 80 people, less than 100 people. Meanwhile, these shows typically start with almost 1 million people, almost every game.
Oh yeah,
I mean a lot of people. So lately, what has been happening? You went from a winning ratio of, like 0.1% of the entire players would win, and they would win a handful of bucks every time. And now the number of people that are winning have grown to the point where you're getting pennies, like 30 cents a time when you win. Why? Because some entrepreneurial individual figured out that you can basically take what is called OCR, optical character recognition. You take your phone and you hold it up in front of a camera. When the question comes up, they have artificial intelligence that reads that, attempts to look up the answer and give you the answer right away in the 10 seconds that you have to be able to click the button and then win. And it's become very, very successful. The website that does this has stated that they are about 80% successful.
I
would take those odds every time.
Kind of want to try it.
I mean, it's interesting. By the way, it's against the terms of service. If they find out that you do it, you will be banned. Not that we really care, because I'm not really interested in playing the game anyway.
I just want to see if it works from the AI perspective.
Yeah. I mean, smart dude. I think it's really, really interesting. Now, you and I have speculated when this first came out, when we first started noticing that it does not matter how stupid the first question is, there is always several hundred, if not thousand people that get the very first question wrong.
And we're talking like obvious, like what color is Big Bird? Yellow,
so obvious.
No color,
Yeah.
and no color.
Yeah.
What color is Big Bird? Someone would inevitably say no color.
No doubt.
Thousands of people will
doubt.
say no color.
So,
that's because they're cheaters.
well, so my thought was that it was artificial intelligence in one of two ways. Either A, somebody was attempting to game the game by using artificial intelligence to answer, or that the answers from Trivia HQ, the way that they were able to offer real cash prizes to people, was by basically selling the answers for trivia back to companies that are studying AI. Why would that be a thing? AI is traditionally trained by humans. You have to have a set of valid questions and answers. You have to know what right looks like, so to speak, so that you can tell the AI, hey, you need to figure out how to basically answer questions that look like this, and here's approximately what the answers look like. And AI is very good at figuring those kinds of things out. So anytime that you're able to kind of crowdsource massively answering questions, and you can get a solid data set worth of correct answers and the questions that correspond to them, that is money for AI. Think of CAPTCHA. Anytime that you see CAPTCHAs where it says...
God, I hate CAPTCHAs.
Well, but it makes sense now. If you see a CAPTCHA where it's saying like, hey, point out, click on all the pictures that are street signs. You know where that's insanely valuable?
Well, yeah, it's AI.
AI, but what AI? Self-driving cars.
Oh, yeah. I guess I never noticed that.
Yeah, that's what it's used for. So I thought for a long time that it might be Trivia HQ being gamed either by or for AI, but this is basically proof right there that there are people using it and it's becoming massively successful. And it's going to ruin the game, I'm telling you.
Ruin the game, but the game's already over to me. Like, it's done.
Yeah.
It's already done for me. Trivia HQ, you're cheating. And you're taking our data. Be better. Scott Rogowski. What's his name? Rogowski.
That dude's funny.
That dude is really
That guy
hilarious,
has if Trivia HQ is over today, that dude has a career afterwards.
That dude has a career before that. He's a huge comedian.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, a huge comedian.
Oh.
Yeah.
I stand corrected. Yeah, that dude's going places. That's
Scott Rogowski.
I'd never heard of him until this whole trivia.
Yeah, he is like Quizzy Gillespie.
Dude.
Yeah, he is a really
funny
really
guy.
popular guy. Stand-up comic. Stand-up comic.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So that's my whole Trivia HQ artificial intelligence thing for the day. We got AI in a couple of times. That's our pet topic. I want to pay attention to that after this is over.
So I'll just tell you, Scott Rogowski got famous, kinda. He went viral by reading fake books with inappropriate titles on the New York subway. And I'm going to tell you this much, those are some funny clips. Because the one I'm looking at is hilarious. So I'm going to tell you, go out there and just Google Scott Rogowski. He is a funny guy. But yeah, he actually had a pretty good career before this, and he had to be basically pillaged.
Look, my apologies for not knowing that earlier, because he's funny.
Yep.
I am sad that I didn't know him from anything else.
Yep,
he is super
He's
funny.
a funny guy. He is a great... From what I gather, he is just a great dude in general.
Yeah.
But he's very, very funny. Very funny guy. I've seen some of his stuff. It's very funny.
I'm interested to see what happens to him after Trivia HQ, because long term, I don't think Trivia HQ is around.
It's got maybe 6 months.
I mean, if AI is not the thing that kills it, there's any number of things that might kill HQ unless they can figure some things out. Least of all being the technical problems. Mm-hmm. They did a live Super Bowl show that was a disaster.
Oh, so bad.
It was not good. So
not good.
Yeah.
Okay. That's all I got.
That's all I got too. So
all right.
That will do it. Yeah.
Hit him with the socials.
You can find me on Twitter at Ominous Hominid. It's pretty much the only thing I check. You can also find...
Barely do that.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I try a little bit.
I would agree.
I give it like 1% of my effort.
Look,
maybe.
You know what? I hear that you're just stacked to the max Monday through Friday.
That is true. Sure would be nice to have a little bit of extra time to devote to any number of other pet projects that we might have on our team. I mean, if my boss should happen to be watching for whatever reason, you know. Anyway, you can find me on Twitter at Ominous Hominid. You can find the channel's Twitter handle at The Tech Speaks.
Yeah, but nobody watches. You don't even tweet from it.
I tweet all of our videos.
Do you?
Yes, I do.
It's automated on YouTube.
It is not. Okay, all of the videos go out is automated, but I still tweet about them and retweet and all that kind of good stuff.
Okay, fair.
Ha!
I'll admit when I'm wrong.
Okay.
I admit when I'm wrong.
Could you say that again?
I will admit when I'm wrong.
I love the sound of that. One more time.
I said I will admit when I'm wrong.
Okay.
When I'm wrong.
And you are wrong.
I did not say that.
You okay? But you.
I did not specify that.
I did not specify.
Those are not part of the terms of that contract. You had said, what did you say? I said, when I'm wrong. When?
CEO status. That's what that is.
Oh, get on my level.
Hit him with your
At Scott
socials.
PG, at Scott PG06 on the Instagram.
Every show.
Oh, shut up.
All right, that'll do it for this week. We'll see you next time.
Deuces. Transition.